Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cold Cans, a Cold Cans Media LLC production. I'm your guest, Kelsea Little, the host of True Stories of Good People, a GoFundMe Heroes production. In each episode of this podcast, we sit down to discuss the sipability and sessionability of a new can of beer. Today on the show, Nick, Joey, and I will discuss Sculpin IPA from Ballast Point here in San Diego. Then we'll pair it with a popular salty treat, Bugles. The result is something unexpected, a good podcast and a true story of good beer.
Yeah! All right. All right. Cheers, Joe.
Cheers.
To you, Kelsey.
Cheers digitally to Kelsey
Digitally.
in San Diego. Oh, I went way too fast off that fade out thing.
Quick fade out.
That's the kind of
We're not editing
production
that
we're in
post
No,
either.
we can't.
So, as you heard in the intro, folks, Kelsea Little is joining the program. She is the host of GoFundMe's True Stories of Good People. We've been working with her for a few years here
Yeah,
at the
it's been a while.
studio, and it's been a great relationship. We always love working with her. And she came on the podcast today with one of her favorite beers. Kelsey, thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh, it is a dream come true, honestly.
Wow. No one's ever said that about this show. You're the first.
No, yeah. So tell us a little bit about your work with GoFundMe and kind of what you like about that podcast, and point people where they can find it.
Yeah, so I have been working with GoFundMe since May 2013, so I'm coming up on my 7-year anniversary.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's been a wild ride, but it's honestly been one of those experiences that you hope to have, but you never know if it's going to happen. Like, I got in when it was under 15 people, and it has
Holy
grown
shit.
to this like behemoth company that is like a household name, and yeah, it's changed my life. Like, I've been able to kind of carve out my own role there and work on what I want to work on, and part of
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the podcast. So, being a podcast enthusiast myself, I pitched the idea to them a couple of years ago, and they let me make a pilot season, and that is what led me to you. I actually recorded the very first episode of True Stories of Good People
Hell yeah.
at your studio, which I think is so special.
Yeah,
That
it
is
is.
really cool.
Yeah. And yeah, so we kind of launched that test season, and it went well. And then last year they gave me the budget and the resources to do an episode a week, and we've been doing that for now. We're in our 2nd year, so it's been going really great, and it's available everywhere you listen to podcasts. It's called True Stories of Good People.
Yes, it's fantastic. That first episode, that was about forgiving lunch debt, right?
Yes,
believe,
yes, good
yeah.
memory. Yeah, so the guy's name is Jeff Liu,
Jeff
and
Liu,
he
that's
is
right.
a local Seattle dad, and he was a pretty big deal up there, and he helped pay off lunch debt for first like his son's school and then the district, and now he's going for like the whole Washington state, so he's pretty incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fucking cool. That's like something that's in the like debate now. Like it's in
It
the
is.
lexicon in 2020.
I know.
Like, yeah, that is a
I-
platform.
I seriously think that like people like him and his campaign, it was such a huge story. I think that is a part of the reason people are talking about it.
That's
Mm.
fantastic. So
Yeah.
you're down in San Diego. That's your home base. I know you travel everywhere for this podcast. Is that why you chose Ballast Point? You mentioned in the intro it's a San Diego beer. Is that why you chose this Sculpin IPA? What's your relationship with this beer?
Yeah, so when I got the very exciting email to be a guest on Cold Cans,
It's what everyone
the-
waits
the
for
first
is
thing-
that big call up, that email.
I was like, when is it coming? So actually, I've never asked you guys this, and I don't want to like do that thing where you turn it around as the interviewer, but I have a question for you.
Bring it.
I'm curious where you got that list of 100, because I don't remember any Ballast Point beers on that, and
No.
or I don't know if there are any San Diego beers on that, so I'm curious like where that list came
Wow.
from. But there are so many amazing San Diego breweries, so I felt like I had to represent.
Well, okay, good point. Our list
Yeah.
is pretty pathetic. We have Foster's somewhere in the 20s. We have like Sparks.
Yeah, where's
we have a bunch of
Sparks is
garbage.
talked about a lot.
Yeah. we have shit on the list. We're acknowledging it, and I think part of our post 100 plan is kind of what is it? Paying retribution for our sins. Is that it?
Perhaps.
Retribution? What do you ask for? Forgiveness for our sins. There it is. That's the word I was
Yeah.
Oh,
going
yeah.
And so
Not
Ballast
punishment.
Point and these neglected San Diego breweries, hey, top of the list. I've had
Yes.
Ballast Point. I don't know how many San Diego breweries like distribute all along the West Coast or throughout the U.S., but I've had this
Yeah,
brewery
I've
before. I
seen
don't know
this.
if I've had this beer.
I've seen this beer everywhere. I feel like this is really widely distributed.
Yeah.
Kelsey, are there any other
Yeah.
major breweries down in San Diego that we would know of?
Yeah, I mean, let's see. There's Green Flash, that's a really big one.
Green Slash?
Yeah, gosh, okay. Maybe what's even more popular? There's Mike Hess. There's Modern Times. That one's really big.
I love Modern Times.
Yeah, okay, good. That's like probably my favorite brewery in San Diego, Modern Times. They have really,
Nice.
really cool spaces if you ever come down here too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We'll be there next week. Thank you for the invitation. Wow. Thanks. All expenses paid, of course.
Yes, of course. Company credit card.
Yeah.
So we'll check in on this beer. Joe, how's it going down for you? First couple sips?
My first few sips are very good. It's not too hoppy. So I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of Pacific Northwest beers anyway. We go so fucking hoppy.
Yeah,
and,
we can't help ourselves. We got so
Yeah.
close to all those hops out there in the
True.
fields. We can't help ourselves.
we're hopheads. We go crazy with this stuff. And now I love that stuff. But this is kind of more back to like balancing a little bit of bitterness against that floral, fruity hoppiness.
Ooh,
So
well said, Joe.
Yeah.
yeah,
That was
it's
beautifully said.
103 episodes in, I'm starting to learn something about beer, and
Beautiful.
and I fucking like it. The first few sips are very good. I don't know if I've ever had it.
Okay, yeah.
But it's
neither
a
have I.
rock solid IPA.
Wow.
It's
Totally.
really good.
Yeah, Kelsey, of course you love this beer. You're also drinking it out of a bottle, is that correct?
Correct.
How's
I
that-
couldn't find a can either.
Yeah, me either. But how is that bottle treating you so far?
It's really good. I don't know if this is the right way to drink beer, but I always chill it to like the point of maybe it's going to freeze soon, and it
Nice.
just is so refreshing right now. And I agree with the floral notes, and I just think it's really well balanced. And it's just a class. It's a San Diego classic. I love it.
I love having like these kind of fucking whatever. Yeah, the classic is the best way to
For
put
sure,
it. Just
for
like a
sure.
super well balanced, well made beer that's local to a region. They always deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah, well balanced is hitting home for me. Famously not a fan of IPAs. And
You're a big malt
Yes,
boy. The
I
beer.
This one I like. I would drink this.
Wow.
I would order this. I would drink
Wow.
it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So as soon as we hang up, are you going to be like, I'm never fucking drinking another drink of this? No, I
My
see
face,
earnestness. I see earnestness
Genuinely.
across Nick's face.
Genuinely, what you said about
Are
there
you-
not
are
being.
you-
Sorry, go ahead, Kelsey.
I said, are you being nice to me because I give you business?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
we can't-
yes, of course. We're trying to keep the lights on here.
Yeah, we still need the billable hours, but at the same time, this is a good beer.
Genuinely, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's not the
good.
like hops hitting you in the face so hard. I
No.
think that's what I like about it.
Yeah, I don't like that we've gone so far away from that in the Pacific Northwest. You can't. Everything has to be fresh hopped. It has to be, and there's always like the graphic design is somebody like literally like losing their fucking mind and their heads exploding or something, and it's like the
Yeah.
insane IPA. This is more classic and it's good. It would go well down in San Diego. I've never been to San Diego. Have you, Nick?
Oh, yeah, I've been a couple times actually.
Yeah, I've never been. You
gotta
drove
visit.
down.
Yeah, so I'll tell you my San Diego story, Kelsey. I had a buddy lose his job a few years ago, and he wanted to go on a road trip. And at the time, studio business wasn't as hot as it was now, so I had some free time as well. And we drove down the West Coast from Seattle, made stops in like Portland, San Francisco, L.A., and then San Diego. It was a great trip. It was like a 11-day affair, I think. And then we took advantage of the proximity to Mexico and parked at the border and walked across into Tijuana.
Oh my goodness.
And when we were over there, we didn't know what to do, so we found a bar, and we were the only people in there. It was like probably 11:30 in the morning or something.
Oh my
And
God.
we're like, we'll take some beers, cervezas.
Sure.
Por favor.
Sure.
Of course. Claro.
Gracias.
And they bring out these they're like half-gallon beers essentially, like
Oh, wow.
enormous mugs of
Oh my
beer.
God.
And then we're like not even a quarter of the way into those, and this guy brings out this big glass jar with rattlesnake in the bottom of it, and he's saying
Oh,
it's the
yeah.
mezcal with the rattlesnake in the bottom.
Marked up.
Yeah.
Of course, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, relatively so. It's it's cheap in Tijuana. But then we drank that. We didn't die from
Good.
drinking that,
Yeah.
and we made
That's
it back.
fantastic.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was a wonderful time, and San Diego was beautiful. It's like I feel like LA at times can be too hot during the summer, but San Diego, every time I've been, it feels like it's just right.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a cliche. The weather is a cliche for a reason. It's beautiful. Wait, at the bar in Tijuana, did they do the mezcal, like pour it in your mouth and shake your head around? Because that's really the signature thing you have to do down there.
Wow.
No, we did not get that treatment. Maybe if there was more of an audience, but it was literally just us in the bar and then the one
Oh yeah, I guess
bartender.
so.
So they didn't give us the full workup, but we did get the mariachi band by us.
Okay.
However,
Did
so
you, did you
yeah.
tip?
of course I tipped
Okay,
Joe.
good. I don't know. I'm watching you. Hold on. I don't have a visual on. What do you mean by pour the tequila in the mouth and shake your head around?
You've never seen that?
No.
Yeah,
Oh my god,
yeah, explain it, Kelsey.
it's very much like a spring break type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess a
Oh.
crowd would be sort of crucial because they want other people to do it, but
Right.
they'll come and they'll bring the tequila bottle or the mezcal bottle with the the spout tip on it, and they will just pour it directly into your mouth, and then they like either spin you around or kind of just like shake your head around. It's probably not super safe for your
Right.
brain, but
Right.
it gets
Gonna
you go
aspirate
faster.
some mezcal, yeah.
That sounds like a nightmare. Wow.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I would say it's like popular on like bachelor and bachelorette parties for
Sure.
sure.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I
Yep.
I had a buddy. We went on a bachelor party in Nashville, and there was this one bar on whatever the main stretch in Nashville is called, and they have a like old school barber chair, so it will like lean back to the position where you'd get a like straight edge shave,
Sure.
and then they pour like
Oh,
Jack
no.
Daniels down your
God.
throat from that.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
And that was the turn of the evening that we
I would
had there
assume.
in Nashville.
I would assume the rattlesnake tequila could also turn an evening if they're shaking you around. Yeah. So have you been down into Tijuana, Kelsey? Is that a thing that San Diegoans do?
Yeah, I've definitely been down there. I don't go down there a lot or anything, but it really is like I could be there in 30 minutes if I wanted to
Yeah.
from where I am right now.
Wow.
But I was just deeper in Mexico. That wasn't like as you had to fly to get there, but Mexico's beautiful. Yeah, it's very accessible from here. It's a nice luxury.
That's very nice.
While we're on the subject, one of the traveling elites on this podcast,
Oh,
Joseph
boy.
Glock, was just in Mexico.
I went to
How was your
Where were
time?
you?
Yeah.
I went to Mexico City for 4 days and was fucking blown
that's
away.
awesome.
It's affordable. It's a reasonable flight. It's a beautiful city. We just wandered around and ate and drank, my wife and I. And then we took a little hopper flight over to Cabo, where we did kind of the resort bumming stuff, which was less awesome. I mean, it was nice and relaxing, but it's just all resorty, touristy stuff. I had never been. And that was fun. And then just flew up to Seattle. It was a great winter getaway. When you live in Seattle in February, you have to get out for a little bit of time. It's,
Oh,
otherwise
yeah.
It's crushing. Yeah.
That sounds beautiful. My husband and I went to have you heard of Tulum,
Yeah.
Mexico?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's in the Yucatan Peninsula, but we
Yep.
went there over Christmas, and it was I can not recommend that enough. It was Mexico's just it's fucking awesome. Whenever you go, it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of what I travel for, like, the art, the architecture, that's all nice. I travel for food, like, above everything else. And,
Oh yeah.
I mean, Mexico,
Yeah.
it's as good as it can get. It was so fucking good
Yes.
to just walk around and eat. Yeah.
Nice.
And that's something that I'm sure you have in San Diego that I just always miss living in Seattle is we have no good, like, great Mexican food. And it's not in abundance by any means. No, it's just, I don't know why it's not up here. It's not up here. So every time I go south and whenever I come to San Diego, Mexican food is going to be the top of the list. I have to get my fix when I travel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think the thing about Seattle is you can't find good or like great cheap Mexican food. There are the
Yeah.
like high end, sort of
The trendy yeah.
restaurants that have good food, but yeah, it's part of the appeal is that it's affordable and easy
Yeah.
and quick.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Yep, we're living life.
We're living life.
While we're speaking of food,
yes.
we can get to a very special parable or terrible.
We have a segment.
We have a
Well, the
segment.
listeners already know what it is. It was
Oh yeah, we
introduced in
said
the
that's
beginning.
true. That's true. The lovely intro.
Oh yeah,
And
spoiled it.
Kelsey, this was we asked you for some suggestions on Imparable or Terrible for this beer, and Bugles came up as one of your suggestions. Can you tell us why and if you like Bugles or have had a history with them? I don't know what a history
Yeah,
would
so
be.
I think
I worded that oddly, but please continue.
Yeah, I used to have a big problem with Bugles. I've gotten over it. I can responsibly partake again. No, I think I really fucked up the Terrible or Terrible segment. I listened to the show, but for some reason, so you asked me my first suggestion. I said fish tacos, and you're like, that's not really what this is about. I was like, yeah, you're right. So then I thought of something that tastes like that, and I told my husband. He came home, and he was like, why do we have Bugles? This is strange. But I explained it, and he was like, you should pick something that's maybe going to be weird, so it's a more interesting segment, because these will probably go with anything.
Right.
But I picked them because I thought they would taste most like, fried halibut in a fish taco. And I do love Bugles.
Okay.
I bought them. Tell me if your package says this. It says, as the branding, America's #1 finger hat.
Finger
which
hat.
I thought was
I was going to bring that up. I mean, that's the classic Bugle thing.
Yeah, they're leaning into that consumer use of their product. Good stuff.
I thought that was genius to say #1 finger hat, because you can dispute that. What other products could say?
Right. What else could be a finger hat? I mean, you're not eating celery or Doritos and balancing. Bugles are the finger hat. Now, here's my problem with it though, Kelsey. Our bag of Bugles, I think they're brewing the Bugles differently than either that or I used to have littler fingers, but I can't get any of these things on the big old sausage.
Well, I think
mix
the
have
openings
right now.
are different sizes. That is part of the problem. Because some of them are completely closed.
I can't get them on any of my fingers.
I remember them being bigger as well, and I don't know, if it's just being adults thing or not, but I'm having trouble here.
Yeah, I think they're all marketing, and they're saving costs by putting the closed Bugle faces. Can't get them on the fingers anymore. A big knock.
They would want people to, though. That's huge on social,
it's
man.
Too expensive.
It's too expensive.
I know. How are they gonna? You can't double down on branding and then close the little holes more.
Yeah, I don't. Now it's like kind of a what are Pringles? They're not real chips. They're a mash. Right?
Oh,
Isn't
yeah,
that
the
it?
slurry.
They're a slurry.
Oh.
Bugles are a slurry, I would have to imagine as well.
The number one ingredient is degermed yellow cornmeal.
Yeah, so that means it's a
Oh
slurry.
no! Why did you say that?
I know. Could there be anything less appetizing?
So
But
all they
to
have
round
going
off
in it-
to round off the ingredients list,
Yeah.
freshness preserved by BHT.
Oh, great.
So they're fresh. Yeah, they're fresh.
Oh no!
Okay, so I'm gonna eat a Bugle. I'm gonna go off mic.
Okay. I've been eating them for a long time, and
How do you do it silently?
we leaned back when Kelsey was explaining the treat. I'm a very smart, shrewd man. It goes well. I mean, Bugles are very salty, and so pairing with a beer is primo.
Yeah, and IPAs are hard to pair because they have such a bold, intense flavor to begin with.
Right.
So you need something that's just a salt bomb, and Bugles scratch that itch. Kelsey, on your end?
Yeah, I'm trying to chew silently as well. I mean, I think, whenever I'm drinking IPAs, I'm like, San Diego's all about IPA, so that it's like a session beer to us. So we'll probably drink like a bunch of these on the weekends, and I always want something salty afterwards. So this is like perfect right now.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a good slurry. I think it's pairable all around. That's good stuff.
Comparable.
Good suggestion, and also good beer. Kelsey, I was thinking, so as we mentioned earlier in the show, we've been working with you for years. So we've done a lot of episodes, edited a lot of your stuff. You're an unquestionable podcast star. That's what I wanted to say. You've talked to a bevy of inspiring people. You've talked to people who feed hungry children. You've talked to people who volunteer as a veterinarian for Pets on the Street, people who founded charitable foundations when they're children. They're not even teenagers yet. Celebrities, Sean Astin, you've talked to Bryce Dallas Howard, people like that. So the pertinent question I have is, where do we, talking to us today, where does that rank on your list of memorable experiences?
I'm going to say #1 with a bullet.
Wow. Take that, Sean Astin.
Who
Eat
gets the
it.
bullet? Though? Do we get the bullet?
I wanted to say thanks for taking the time, because you do really good work, and we
Honestly.
appreciate having you joining us in our stupid ass podcast. And also
Yes,
your beer
thank you.
suggestion is wonderful.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so glad it was well received.
And we would be remiss not to mention the generous gift that you provided to us over the holidays, the Advent calendar of beers that we did one episode doing a head-to-head.
Yeah.
That was I think the first of the post 100.
101, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
That was the one that made Joey go insane, he said on Twitter.
Well, what were we didn't know what to do post 100.
No,
we talked it out live on air, and that made me feel like I was losing my fucking mind.
Yeah. Now, I thought I had some good suggestions, and then you piped up with the weird, like, moving the tears thing. And then when I was listening back, I thought it was going to, like, come around, and I was going to be like, oh, yeah, he made a good point there, but it just never landed. I still don't know what you're talking about.
Sometimes we brainstorm, we expand, and then we come back with a point of view. I just spun us off into the abyss. It's like in Gravity when you're just going out into space forever. So I don't think we still have a coherent vision.
Well, certainly not.
It's certainly not.
That's on theme for this podcast.
Boy. But, Kelsey, we should tell you how we consumed that Advent calendar.
Oh, yeah.
Are we ready to admit this publicly? I don't think anyone knows, not even our own loved ones.
No, I don't think so. I sent Kelsey a picture of the aftermath, but she does not know
how we did it.
Yeah.
So we had those 2 beers on the podcast, and they were wonderful. And we had our curiosity piqued, but we're like, let's save them for some special occasion. A couple of weeks after that podcast, or maybe a week or so afterwards, we were doing like a jam night. We came down here, we played some guitar, and we were just like singing and drinking and having a good time. We ran out of the wine that we had brought to jam night, and we're like, hey, we have that Advent calendar. Let's have some more of those. We drank the rest of the Advent calendar with another friend of ours over at jam night. Got way too drunk, but what a lovely experience it was. We had too much all at one time. But that's how good it was. So thanks again for your gift.
That makes me so happy. Oh, my God, of course. It was just... I just wanted to say thanks, and then when it turned into an episode, I was just like, wow, this is, the gift that keeps on giving.
And it kept on giving to us that jam night. I was like a kid on Christmas every time I got to punch in and open up a new beer. I was out of control, but it was very fun.
What was like one of the best ones from the pack? Because they don't tell you what's in it.
Great question. I took some pictures. There was a Seattle beer in there. There was a Elysian.
Was it Dayglow?
No, Hot Fuzz. I think.
Oh, Hot Fuzz. Yeah, the one with Jimi Hendrix on the cover.
So good.
Yeah, it's really good. Every beer, they clearly curated it to put like rock solid regional craft beers throughout. Because our first few we had were like one from Florida. I don't remember where the other one was from, but
North Carolina, I think?
Something
Asheville,
like that.
Maybe, yeah.
And every one was solid, but it started with us like examining each one, being like, "Oh, this is going to be a good choice," and then ended with us just kind of driving back a lot of beers. And
okay, I did find some pictures. You were right; it was Dayglow. It was not Hot Fuzz.
Okay,
that's my bad. But there was also Dale's Pale Ale.
Oh yeah,
which we had done on the podcast previously. And then another Florida beer, J Dub's Bell Cow Milk Chocolate Porter.
Jesus Christ.
It was a lot of beers that didn't go well together, but we just kept drinking them like one after another.
That explains the hangover the day after.
Yeah, it's a jam night. You got to do it.
Yeah, and it was
We're rock stars, baby.
It was one of the most fun nights. I've literally like top 10 fun night I've ever had in my life.
It was so fun. I will say though,
yes.
I was in studio for like 6 hours straight that next day, and I was absolutely the most hungover I've ever been sitting in here.
Ouch.
Oh boy.
I probably shouldn't say that publicly, but
I probably emailed you at like 3 p.m. and like, can you get this to me in 2 hours? And you're like, hell.
Oh no.
No, that's what cured my hangover was working on your podcast, Kelsey.
Getting the chance to work on that podcast. I will say like something you probably never say on your own show because I don't know why you would, but I do a lot of the edits on your show, and you'll say like, hey, edit this out at point A to point B. And sometimes between there, it's a flub or it's just something where it's like, we're moving stuff around. A lot of times it's legitimately like an emotional moment that you're having that you don't want to spill onto the show. Like that's almost every ending that you have is like you saying like, that was so beautiful. Because I'm not even like, not just saying that to kind of to plug the show. It really is like remarkable how often those emotional beats will get hit. I think that you're an excellent interviewer because it happens all the time. And that's stuff that nobody even gets to hear because we edited it out. But You do a good job.
Thank you.
For sure.
Of course.
That means a lot to me.
Well, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I've just accepted that's my brand. It's like just emotional with a capital E. That's fine.
It's just eliciting whatever was behind their decision to start their, campaign. Like that sounds like it should obviously be the goal of the show, but I don't think that's an easy thing to do. Without it, you could go poorly and be like TMZ and be pushing too hard, or you could be really bland and not like ever elicit any real emotion. And you do such a good job of doing it in a human way. And honestly, it's remarkable. There were more than one episode where I would send, Nick would be CC'd and we offline in our Slack chat. I would be like, this is a really fucking good episode. You do a great job. Yeah. So
thank you so much. That means the world to me.
Yeah. Well, you do good work.
Cool. Yeah.
Appreciate
it. Yeah, thank you for taking the time today for ours is probably the most charitable thing you've done in the entire run of your podcast career.
Absolutely.
So thank you for throwing us a bone, and we do appreciate you. We're gonna let you go now and get back to doing all the good stuff you do. You said you were making martinis earlier. Are you gonna enjoy one of those for yourself now that you're off the podcast?
I think so.
Nice.
I don't want to admit this on air, but I will. My husband and I watched The Bachelor.
Yes.
I feel that the world is just such a dumpster fire that we deserve trash on TV.
Sure.
So we're going to go drink martinis and watch trash TV.
Heck yeah.
Together. What a lovely evening. I love it.
But as an end cap, a nice end cap, the world is a dumpster fire sometimes, but there are beautiful people doing amazing things. So go listen to true stories of good people and have your faith restored in humanity.
Absolutely.
Truly.
Couldn't back that more. Thanks for your time, Kelsey. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This was an honor.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Talk
to
to
you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, I believe we've reached the rankings portion of the show, Joe.
We have. That was a lovely conversation. But now we have to do the
real
business.
You use this podcast as an emotional platform, and I like that.
What do you mean?
I've never heard you share emotions at any other time in life unless it's on this podcast.
Wow. That's true.
So I'm glad that it enables you to do that, truly.
Well, you have to give the people what they want, No, it's what I feel.
It's all for the show, baby.
It's a nice outlet, and I meant what I said with Kelsey, too. She does great stuff. It's good to hear.
She totally does.
Okay. Let's get down to business. Brass tacks. Let's clear the bugles out of our gullets and rank this thing. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking cream.
Wow. So cream would be 1 to 16.
That's a pretty thick cream, isn't it?
That's a heavy cream. Should I read those T to T?
Sure.
Okay, 16 to 1 is Elysian Night Owl Pumpkin Ale, Optimism Brewery Before the Dawn, Rataburger, Bat Squatch, La Fin du Monde, Travelin' Like Kolsch, Sierra Nevada Hazy Little Thing IPA, Prima Pills, Rodenbach Grand Cru, Cold Cans Kolsch, Spotted Cow, and the top 5 is Lagunitas Nighttime Ale, Pyramid Snowcap Winter Ale, Pseudo Sue, Delirium Tremens, and our number 1, Deschutes. Deschutes and Lagunitas are in my mind, I equate Ballast Point to those breweries for some reason. It's just these regional breweries that distribute widely.
Yeah, I think that's a good comparison.
Yeah.
Ballast Point is the 17th largest brewery in the country.
Wow.
According to Wikipedia.com. Owned by
.com or .org? You on the paid
I'm on
for?
the paid for. Yeah, I pay $1,000 a month for this. It's owned by Kings and Convicts Brewery, which I don't know.
Interesting.
Appears to not have its own.
It's not owned by a conglomerate?
It was sold to Constellation Brands for $1 billion in 2015.
Constellation Brands. Oh, boy. So it is owned by a conglomerate. Is Constellation Brands owned by AB InBev?
So recently, in December 2019, Chicago-based brewery Kings and Convicts announced they were buying Ballast Point from Constellation for undisclosed terms.
Wow.
And that's your financial report.
We should have a financial report music.
We should.
Da-ding, 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 and then you come in.
So Constellation Brands is famous for Robert Mondavi wine, Svedka vodka, Casa Noble tequila, And I knew these Corona, Modelo Especial, and Negro Modelo and Pacifico.
So is it buy or sell? Sell. Constellation Brands.
Should we release cold can stock, you think? Do a sale, IPO?
You think we should IPO? Go public?
Yeah.
Cold Cans Media LLC. We're an LLC.
We'll retain
We'd have to...
full board directors' rights, of course.
Naturally. Brian, the Harrelson estate can't take that away from us, as we know.
But all I'm going to say is cold cans might be open for business.
Wow. So
I'm going to say on the matter at this time.
Any investors out there looking to buy. Cold Cans Media LLC is IPOing. And we're at the New York Stock Exchange ringing the bell. It's an absolute catastrophe. We're a penny.
2 bells.
We're a penny stock the next day. People are trading our shares for fractions of a cent.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'd like to get into the penny stock game. What do you think?
You think so?
Day trading penny stocks?
If you got some time to kill and some hair to lose, go ahead and day trade penny stocks.
Well, we should. I'm saying, not only will I do that, we'll enter it as a company front, of course, for other dealings.
Of course,
a way to channel in our podcast money to divert taxes.
Hey,
all right. What are
Back
we doing?
To the
here?
rankings.
Okay, so cream. This is cream territory.
I think so. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just a rock solid IPA. I think it doesn't, for me, hit those top like 7 or 8 that like had something that like completely distinguish it. But like we said when Kelsey was on, it's so balanced and so like it's such a good thing to reach for if you're in doubt. You know, like you don't need to be in the mood to have this. It's an everyday type IPA. It's good.
Agreed.
I was gonna make a joke when you were telling your Tijuana story about how being in the bar at 11:30 is nothing new for you and the guy
that would
you
have
were
been
traveling
fun.
with. I don't know. I didn't know if Kelsey would have an appetite for it. You know?
I think her willingness to be on this podcast
Sure.
at all was showed
A surprise.
some sort of at least tolerance for that sort of behavior and joke.
Okay.
I was trying to look up because a Sculpin I think is like a bottom feeder in the
the graphic
when you
design
said
is
rock
that.
solid I was gonna be like, oh, they're sitting on rocks.
Sure. Hey,
but I can't find any confirmation on that, I will defer this joke till later.
Can I be open and honest and say an idea I workshopped with you this afternoon that you said you thought was quote,
do you
horrible?
do you want to make that public?
Yeah, I do. All right.
Okay.
So we knew we were going to do a parable or terrible with Kelsey on her show.
Yeah.
We knew her podcast, which you absolutely should check out, which is True Stories of Good People, the GoFundMe Heroes production. And I was thinking, could we have fun with the name of the podcast instead of parable or terrible? What if we had, as the food we ate with it, peanuts, and then the name of the segment could be True Stories of Good Peanuts? Question mark. What do you think?
No.
You said it was quote
I
horrible.
said
You said
I
that's
hate
horrible.
that.
Or,
No,
yeah,
I said I hate that.
I hate that.
I'll noodle on it until showtime.
Yeah, well, that fucking noodle didn't produce anything. We just did.
We could have
parable or
just
terrible.
said True Stories of Good Parables, or like Brew Stories of Good Parables, something like that.
That sucks.
No, it doesn't.
Good parables. Oh, I like the idea of okay, fine. Brew Stories of Good Parables.
And parable, the actual word, is a
Like a
synonym
parable.
for a story.
Ooh, that's
Christ's sake.
actually solid. But then we need a terrible. So that's why I was thinking something along the lines of like, if True Stories of Good People, it'd be fake stories of bad people. You know, like what's the opposite? What would be the bad version of it, Nick?
So if Breitbart is producing this podcast, who are they
No,
talking to?
I'm not doing that. I'm just saying. Oh, I see. Because bad people.
Yeah.
Then yes, I don't like Breitbart. I don't get this confused, listeners.
I don't
turn
even know
this
anything
around.
about them. I shouldn't have said that. Maybe there's good people there. I don't know.
What the fuck are you doing? You're defending Breitbart right now?
No.
Fuck them.
No.
All right, let's rank this thing. So we're.
Can I do the Beer Advocate?
Oh yeah,
Let's get back to our old values. I'm going to read the Beer Advocate. This is an American
under attack.
This is an American IPA. It has 7% ABV. I did not realize that.
Oh wow, that's nice.
This is the number 4 American IPA on Beer Advocate. It has a score of 98 or world class.
Whoa!
Yeah, this is a big time beer. Maybe bigger than we even thought.
A BTB. This thing's bigger than anybody even thought. You were talking about Breitbart and my ears perked up. I'm a regular contributor. Jesse Ventura hasn't been on in a while.
It's been too long.
I
want to
get him off. I'm kicking him off for good. Again, all he was is a crude imitation of James Domian's Jesse Ventura. He should just be off the show. Jesse.
Well, that's true.
Do you have any
Maybe
final
we'll
words?
get James Domian on the program.
That would be a get.
That'd
That'd be almost as big of a
huge
get as Kelsey.
Yeah, be down that road.
Should I open another one or not? Am I going to regret it?
You can go for it. I'll have a glass of water.
What if I open it and we split it? We'll pour it into our
Okay,
cups.
that's fine. That sounds good.
So it's a 98 world class. Do we have any reviewers that are interested?
I was trying to see. I mean, everyone loves it, so it's not anything that interesting.
But I mean, do they describe the beer in any other way that you, Kelsey, or myself didn't? Like, is it is balanced? Like, were we right about that? Like, it's just a great execution of an IPA?
Right. This user DAC RZA1 says
Rizza. Isn't that how you say it?
Rizza?
Rizza?
I don't know. It's DACRZA1.
Okay.
Could be anything. The very picture of the genre. A golden amber body, busy as a city with its active effervescence.
Wow.
Building a finger's worth of thick clumps of snow-white head. This sits nobly and staunchly for the duration of the drink. Lemon, grapefruit, and mango build a tropical profile, with pineapple and aromatic flowers creating an inviting allure. Its secondary scents include sweet-bread malts and light peppery spiciness. Its body, hearty, smooth, and agreeable. At 7% ABV, it finds that sweet spot between drinkable and weighty, drawing heavily on the back end while biting at the teeth with a robust presence.
That sounded like Mark Twain describing the sunrise over the Mississippi.
That was beautiful, and that was only half of the review for what it's worth.
Jesus Christ!
So, yeah, well done, sir or
Rizza.
ma'am.
Maybe it is Rizza. Okay.
What does the DAC stand for then?
The Democratic Active Convention.
Drinks are
Cool.
Cool. Drinks are cool, Rizza. 1.
And he wanted to be drinks are cool Rizza, but somebody had already had it taken out. Oh boy. Okay.
For the record, I don't even know who Rizza is. I've only seen it written.
He's an artist. He's a musical artist.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah, let's rank this thing.
Okay. I'm with you. I'm thinking cream. We do have a heavy cream. It does mean we need to expel the bottom beer if we were to rank this in here. So the beer that would be expelled if we chose to do this would be our last beer in the cream ranking. That's number 16, which is Elysian Night Owl Pumpkin Ale.
Yeah.
I think this should be in cream. I would put it there.
I think so too.
So Elysian Night Owl Pumpkin Ale, you're going to the graveyard. R.I.P.
Hoot, hoot.
Hoot, hoot.
That's our send-off.
Do you have any final words
for the Night Owl?
For the Night Owl?
I will drink you come next fall.
Yeah.
You'll be there for me as the sun goes down. 6.7% beer. We drink you every year.
We do. 3.95 out of 5. Shed a tear. Wow, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
That was Rizza-esque. I love it. I'm with you when I go to the grocery store and I walk the beer aisle and I see it show up for the first time in the fall. I'm like, ooh, it's Night Owl season.
Oh, yeah.
I get all excited.
Here, I'll read the description from it. This was October 27th of 2017. Nick Goulis and Bowie are joined by special guest Devil Gulk for an Elysian Night Owl on a scary Halloween edition of Mold Cans.
That's pretty good.
That's fun stuff.
Was that you or me? Must have been me.
I think it was you, yeah.
Oh, I thought you'd go.
I wouldn't have called your wife Devil Gulk.
Oh, yeah,
I think it was you, though.
No, Mold Cans.
We've talked about
that's funnier than I
names.
am. That feels like it should be you. You're better at that. You're funnier than me.
Well, of course I am. But you steal all my best traits and use them as your own.
What?
So where is this beer going to go in the cream?
Good question. I'm perusing through.
I'm running into the problem again of I see a beer that I wanted to displace, but then there are beers below that I don't really want it to displace.
Meaning our rankings are garbage.
Our rankings are absolute trash.
Trash rankings. Sell. I have a spot, and it's firm.
There. Oh. I can almost feel it. It's so firm.
Oh, come on.
There's
It's a family
a
show,
good comparison there
episode.
because there is only one other IPA in our top 16 beers,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and it is Sierra Nevada Hazy Little Thing.
Oh, no, there's 2 IPAs then you're missing.
What's the other one?
Well, I'm putting it right next to it, so I don't want to
Let
say.
me find it.
Have your ranking. You got it? 3, 2, 1 it.
Where's the other? There is no.
Shut up.
There's an American Pale Ale.
Nope, there's a New England IPA.
Prima Pils.
It's Bat Squatch, number 13, right? It's a
Oh
it's a
yeah.
New England
Sorry,
IPA.
my mistake.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, let's rank it.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, 11.
14. Okay,
Wow.
so the beers, you have it at 11, I have it at 14. The beers that would be in between there would be Travelin' Like Kolsch, Le Fin du Monde, and Bat Squatch. So we're pretty close.
You had it right below Bat Squatch.
I had it right below
I like
Bat
this way
Squatch.
better than Bat Squatch.
Really?
I will not move on the subject.
Wow.
La Fin
Can
du
I
Monde-
defend Bat Squatch for a second?
Sure, yeah, please.
Number 1, Bat Squatch, associated with Rogue Brewing, associated with your trip to Portland.
That's true. That some of my best friends in the world attended.
All right. And that would and it's a beer that I pick up. It's kind of seasonal. I don't think that's a beer
I
all
thought
year
so
round.
too, but I have seen it on the shelf
I've
at
continued to see it
Safeway
too.
every day.
Yeah, but every time we're like, let's get like 2 6-packs to just have around the house. I see Bat Squatch. I'm like, ooh, let's get that one.
That's a
It's
go-to.
just-
Okay,
it's my go-to.
nice. It is a tasty IPA. I won't take that.
But
from
you prefer this to Bat Squatch, and you won't move in the
I
point.
would, especially for the sessionability of it. I even at the event that I was celebrated at, and all my great friends were at, I could only have one Bat Squatch because it was
Coward.
just a little bit too.
Spooky, scary. You were scared
Hoppy
of
for me.
the label.
I was scared.
And then above it, Le Fin du Monde, I do think is slightly better than this. Le Fin du Monde's like a really good beer, a special beer. Traveling Like Kolsch, we both loved.
That was. We should have that again because it was just such a beautifully light,
Right.
sessionable beer.
But
So what? Below, I'm
So you
comfortable
had
at 13. You still want Bat Squatch ahead of it?
if you come down to 13, I'll let Bat Squatch be behind
Okay.
it. I think that's a good.
That's the story of our political process, folks. I move 3, Joe moves 1.
your regular Mayor Pete.
No, let's not do that.
You defended Breitbart 20 minutes ago. You're like, maybe Breitbart's good.
I didn't defend them. I just said whatever.
I get what you're saying. There's probably some good people employed there. I
Or
argue
they
there
at least
aren't.
maybe there aren't. I
How
just
could you work there?
all I would say is I don't know enough about it to
Mm.
actually have an opinion other than that's what.
They're trash.
Yeah.
Well, they are trash.
The funding by whatever his name was.
Steve Bannon?
Yeah.
It's not great. So it's our new number 13. What is great is Ballast Point. Our segue was Breitbart.
Yes.
But Ballast
Oh,
Point,
boy.
Sculpin IPA, very good. A new number 13
World
out of
class.
100. World class. Beer Advocate loved it. We loved it. And our guest was fantastic. And thanks again, Kelsey, for your time.
Yeah. That was awesome.
We appreciate it. Yeah, you're great.
As
Keep
far
on.
as guest rankings go, where do you got it?
I have to put it at number 2. Yes.
I
My
can put her
life,
at number 1.
you
I can put her
can,
at
yeah.
number 1. That was great and
no.
compelling, especially for a phone interview. They're not often easy to sort of have some interplay back and forth, and she was really well done.
She's a pro. She does it for a living. She tours around. She interviews honestly super interesting and intriguing people.
Totally.
You think we're just peddling her podcast and plugging it, but you honestly should give it a listen. You'll fucking like it. It's really good. True stories
Agreed.
of good people. Just search for it on your favorite search engine, Bing.com.
Hit that music, Joe.
And
Is it gonna be too loud right away?
Shit, I don't think it'll
Oh,
be
you
too
don't even
loud.
have it queued.
No, I have it queued up. Don't worry about me one bit. In fact, I have the volume down. So another
this was
good
fun.
episode.
Yeah.
It was
Thanks for
fun.
making the time, Joe. You're headed off again to the bright skies
All
of
right,
America.
Let's just wrap this up. Till next week.